What's going on, y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time it is you checking me out today, I hope you're having a fantastic one. You in here kicking it with Stoney James. I was just checking into this article, and I guess just because of some of the adverse effects I had from, like, I was a chronic, pun intended, chronic weed smoker for years. I could speak to a lot of the benefits that I experienced from my time smoking through like teens. I was early smoker, teenage years and even 20s. But I started to notice that like once I crossed 30, I really started having some effects that made me go, okay, what's happening? Like, this is not what I'm used to. Sure, I had like other substances that I had mixed in with it throughout the years. I mean, mainly alcohol. So when I started to step away from alcohol, it really allowed me to just pay attention to how the weed was actually affecting me. And I know we got the Frankenstein weed now. It's like it's growing in the lab. It's not the original ganja, right? Stems and seeds and sticks and all that kind of stuff. It's different now. So I think we all got to acknowledge that first. But when I started noticing like it's having some adverse effects, really weird stuff started to happen for me. And so I would say, what's today? I am May 10th. This year will be 2 years, like completely free of weed, but it's already left some lasting effects where now, like if I smoke at all, like any tobacco, I'm having some issues where I need to like completely stop smoking. I'm pretty sure that's where I'm at in my journey. I'm gonna have to let it go altogether. So I came across this article, and I'm going to pull this up because another one of the effects that I noticed is something that kind of caught me when I was looking at the headline. And I was like, all right, let me check this article out and just see what's going on in here. Hold on one second. I got to pull it up. I know it's a lot of advocates. Not everybody's experience is the same. And for the bulk of my years, it was a pretty positive one, you know, other than moving a little bit slower than I wanted to in some circumstances. Then I started realizing that I like to smoke indica. I like indica, some of the hybrids, but mostly just indica, heavy on the indica, which is that stuff that just puts you to sleep and knock you out. And I got to the point where like I smoked a ridiculous amount of weed. And it got to the point where I wasn't even getting high no more. It was just like, it was truly recreational. It was like, it's just something to do, to pass time. I'm not even being affected by this the way I want to. So like, what's the point of me even doing this now? And then once it started to have the negative effects, I was like, even less motivated to go back to it. So at this point, like, it's no longer a part of my life. I mean, 2 years is a mighty long time for somebody that was an everyday smoker. Not just every day, but like all day, every day. Anytime I could get an opportunity to smoke, I was smoking. That was how I enjoyed music. That's how I enjoyed my movies. I was the kind of person that eventually I got to the point where I would smoke before I ate, all of that kind of stuff. So it was truly a part of my life. It was a part of my diet. It was factored into my day. And it's kind of strange for me now that like I live so weed free. It's like,
just a moment.
Now we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Okay. So this popped up and it says marijuana hospital visits linked to dementia diagnosis within 5 years, study finds. Now I will say it's a lot of statistics. It's a lot of studies. I think you can find anything to support whatever it is you're looking for these days. So I guess you could take it with a grain of salt. But the reason why I was so interested in this is because I noticed, and I blamed a lot of it on COVID, but then I think about what I was doing a lot, even more so post-COVID, or the COVID days. 2019, 2021, heavy intake. And I've noticed recently, I've always had a very strong memory. There's certain things I can remember. I can almost play it back in my mind like it's a movie. And then people started bringing things up to me where I was like, not only could I like contest whatever the memory was, it's like, I don't remember bits and pieces. I don't remember that at all. It's like the memory is completely gone. And I kept blaming it on COVID, and I started thinking about my habits during the COVID years. I'm like, okay, well, I said I noticed it was having some effects on me, more so recently than ever before. My memory was one of the things that kind of suffered. And I saw this and it just set off a little bit of alarm, because it was like, okay, well, I wonder if anybody else is experiencing something like this. Let's check this out here. So it's a CNN report. And I don't know the writer. Don't know the writer here, but this is an article from April 20th of this year. And okay, Sunday is 420, so this was 420 report. When lovers of marijuana get together to celebrate their fondness for weed, yet research shows that regular users of marijuana are at risk for serious conditions including strokes, heart attack, cardiac arrhythmias, heart failure, and myocarditis. I don't know that one. Which is an inflammation of the heart muscle. Now an increased risk of dementia can be added to the list. According to a large study of more than 6 million people published April 14th in the journal JAMA Neurology, someone who has an emergency room visit or hospitalization due to cannabis has a 23% increased risk of dementia within 5 years compared to someone who was at the hospital for another reason. They have a 72% greater risk compared to the general population. Assistant professor. Those numbers have already factored out other reasons for dementia, such as age, sex, mental health, or substance abuse, and whether or not you have chronic conditions such as diabetes or heart disease. Earlier research shows marijuana users are nearly 25% more likely to need emergency care and hospitalization than non-users. However, this is not a study that anyone should look at and say jury's in and cannabis use causes dementia, which is like I was saying. I mean, there's all kind of different studies around the world. I don't think we would need a lot more to just say like this is the smoking gun right here. But these are some interesting findings already. Myron said, this is a study that brings up a concerning association that fits within a growing body of research. Which, like I said, we got the Frankenstein weed now. It's not the same as the old school weed that we used to know. And so I'm pretty sure it has some different effects than, our elders and ancestors, the old school weed that they had. They could smoke forever. Your eyes be, red as my coat over here. But, a red flag. The study is a red flag for health professionals who should be screening for cannabis use disorder, said Dr. Robert Page, a professor of clinical pharmacy and physical medicine at the University of Colorado Sky School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences in Aurora. Say that 5 times fast. People with cannabis use disorder are unable to stop using even though they encounter health or social problems from use. That sounds like addiction. Said Page, who chaired the medical writing group for the American Heart Association's 2020 scientific statement on marijuana. When they stop using it, they'll either have withdrawal symptoms or have very bad mental health symptoms, he added. They might have quite severe depression, or they might have anxiety, all of which can send them to the hospital. The potency of weed has skyrocketed over the years, which can heighten health risk and is leading to a global rise in marijuana addiction, as well as cannabis use disorder, according to a 2022 study. Which is why I was trying to tell people before. I know a lot of people say that weed doesn't have addictive properties. Maybe back in the day it didn't. I'm pretty sure that like they say, the potency has skyrocketed. And like I call it the Frankenstein weed. It's not the same stuff that we used to smoke. So I think we have to throw out a lot of the old school mentality we have about it, because we're dealing with a different product, which I'm no longer a marijuana smoker, but I noticed some of the like really long lasting effects that it's had on me is really affecting me, where now even anything I smoke, tobacco, it all affects me in the same way, but it was absolutely the worst when I was smoking weed. So I was also saying that when you have something like that where it becomes so much a part of your daily routine, that's an addiction. If it's something that you need every day, especially because of how much it costs. And you know, with the prices of things now, I'm pretty sure there's some people out there that's making a decision on how much they smoke versus how much they eat, and you know how much gas you put in the tank too. So, I mean, you take from it whatever you want to. I'm pretty sure there's some people out there that think it's to be addicted to weed, but put it down. Do that, like, just as a test study for yourself. Put it down and see how long you can go without smoking. I'm talking about the avid weed smokers, the ones that do this on a daily basis. Just put it down for a little while and see how long it takes you to be affected. I keep going here. Addiction to marijuana can happen to about 30% of people who use cannabis, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The disorder also comes with a higher risk of attention, memory, and learning problems. So, the other takeaway from this study is that many people believe marijuana to be natural and therefore safe. It is a psychotropic medication, so it's going to have psychotropic effects. If you have underlying psychiatric issues, realize that you need to be transparent with your provider and let them know if you're using this medically or recreationally. And gives rates of hospital screening are rising. Researchers looked at medical records between 2008 and 21 for more than 6 million people between the ages of 45 and 105 without dementia who lived in Ontario. Of course, over 1,600 have been seen due to negative responses to marijuana. Within 5 years of an emergency room visit or hospitalization for cannabis, 5% of people were diagnosed with dementia. And within 10 years, 19% of people were diagnosed with dementia. Myron said rates of emergency room visits due to marijuana increased 5-fold in adults between the ages of 45 and 64, nearly 27-fold for people 65 and older during these 13 years, according to the study. While this study was done in Canada, it should apply to all North America, including the U.S., he added, pointing to a May 2024 study that shows daily or near daily use of marijuana surpassed alcohol by the year 2022. If the connection between cannabis use and dementia does turn out to be casual, just how might marijuana trigger cognitive decline in regular users? One possibility is that daily or nearly daily use of marijuana changes neural connectivity in the brain. There's certainly a pathway where there's potential inflammation, microvascular damage from marijuana, he said. It could be that regular cannabis use causes people to develop other risk factors for dementia, such as depression, social isolation. Oh my God. Y'all gonna think I can't read. Social isolation. I gotta go to sleep. It's late. Social isolation and lower educational attainment. And it could be that people who regularly use cannabis are more likely to have major trauma to the brain, such as a motor vehicle collision. So that's crazy, man. Like, I'm gonna make sure that I link this article just in case you're interested. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt if that's what you feel like doing. There's all kind of studies and all kind of research, and you can find anything to support whatever it is you're looking for. Now, I didn't go looking for this. It was something that popped up on my feed, and I was drawn to it just by the title alone, because I said I noticed that I was having some issues with recollection. I have gaps and spaces in my memory where you can bring up something that we were all there for, and I'll be the one that does not remember any of it. None. Hey, you remember we went to this restaurant? No. Remember we went to see this movie? Actually, I don't. I'm not joking. I'm not doing this for effect or any of that. And that's why just the title alone was so alarming to me, because it seems like the study is more so geared towards people 45 and up. But when I know that, eventually I'll be there, and I think about all the years of use, I wonder what kind of effect that'll have on me in the future. And have I saved myself from maybe something even worse because I stopped? Now I'm at a point where I'm not so tempted to even want to go back to it, because I've been living without it for almost 2 years. In comparison to before, was like a pretty regular part of my everyday everything. So I do feel better that I was able to get back to just experiencing life without the substances. I had to let alcohol go, and then the marijuana followed. And like the last thing on my list is tobacco. Once I get rid of these cigarettes, I think I can, I just might start dancing, once I get to the point. For me, it seems like it's that 21-day thing. And once I get past, let's call it a month. Once I get past a month without whatever it is, I'm fine. But that first couple of weeks is a struggle. For any of the tobacco users, I'm pretty sure people can speak to that experience, that might be the hardest one out of all of them to get rid of. And they just keep jacking up the price on it. That should be enough to help you stop. But then there's still millions of smokers out here in the world. So, man, we all got some things we dealing with. I'm not ashamed of it at all. It's life, I think I've quit probably 30 times since 2025 began, and I'm still struggling with that. But I always say that I will have victory over this thing. So it's just a matter of when. And since I've already claimed it, then there's nothing to it but to do it. So eventually it'll happen. But in the meantime, I was just looking at this article. It was interesting to me for all of the reasons I stated. I felt like sharing that with y'all. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Have you had any kind of adverse effects from smoking marijuana, Mary Jane, weed, the devil's lettuce? Anything that you noticed? Has COVID messed you up? I know I have like a weird sense of time, especially during that time span, but I'm very certain, because like the memory recollection that I'm trying to pull from is not from 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's from 2, 3, 4 years ago. It's very recent. And you'll ask me about something I just can't recall. I don't remember. It's like maybe I might remember the smallest piece of the experience or maybe that day. I can tell you, I remember this about that day, but I don't actually remember going to this place. Just a lot of blank spots. So I found that to be weird. I'm not sitting here saying I have dementia. Just that I'm pretty sure my memory has been affected. So I need to be doing some kind of exercises to make sure I strengthen my memory. I hold on to whatever is left of my brain power that I haven't smoked away. Hopefully you haven't either. That's all for right now. It's just thought I would share that with you, but I love you and go to sleep. I'm out.